Support for WCBU's On Deck comes from Jaguar Land Rover Peoria on Allen Road, offering complimentary pickup and delivery for service with every new vehicle purchase, including the Land Rover Defender. Details at jaguarlandroverpeoria.com. This is WCBU, Peoria Public Radio.
A new presidential prospect whips up support from Illinois Democrats. That's just one of the things you'll want to hear about to start your day for Tuesday, July 23rd. I'm Colin Shope, and this is WCBU's On Deck. First on deck today, Tazewell County Republican Chair Jim Rule says he believes President Joe Biden's decision to drop out of the presidential election helps Republican candidates. WCBU's Cameron Cutinello reports.
Rule says President Joe Biden's decision to exit the 2024 presidential race did not come as a surprise to him. He says he believes this could ultimately help former President Donald Trump in his bid for a second term.
And I think that regardless of who the Democrats decide on, whether they coalesce around Vice President Harris or whether they have an open convention, I think we're going to do well.
Rule says the Democratic Party's coalescing around Vice President Kamala Harris, who was endorsed by Biden, shows unity, but he doesn't believe she is the strongest candidate. He says having an open convention would produce a stronger candidate, but, quote, destroys their message of unity. Rule says he thinks this decision will also help Republican candidates down the ballot.
I think that the down-ballot races are going to be much more stronger, but that really depends on how the Republicans in their particular races, like myself as the county chair, how we promote those races, how we get those candidates name recognition so that people know who they are.
Rule says the Tazewell County Republicans will not change their approach to the election as a result of this change. But he says that Biden should resign as president, saying that if he doesn't have the ability to run for office, he shouldn't continue as president. For WCBU, I'm Cameron Cutinello.
Here are some other stories we're following in the WCBU newsroom. A 17-year-old girl is dead after a single vehicle crash in East Peoria early Monday morning. And 4 people say they want to fill a circuit judge vacancy in Woodford County. Plus, a hearing in federal court this week will determine whether a 13-year-old consent decree involving disability services in Illinois can be lifted. You can find more of these stories and all the details at WCBU.org. Vice President Kamala Harris is quickly locking in Democratic support for the presidential nomination after President Joe Biden announced he's dropping out of the race. WCBU's Joe Deacon reports.
Some Illinois Democrats immediately joined Biden in endorsing Harris on Sunday, but others held off until Monday morning. That included Governor J.B. Pritzker. He is widely thought to hold presidential aspirations, but he joined other potential rivals in backing the vice president on Monday. In a statement, the second-term governor says Harris is the most qualified person to be president, and it's time to shatter the glass ceiling by electing a woman to the nation's highest office. Left unsaid is whether Pritzker would consider becoming Harris's running mate. State Senator Dave Kaler is a delegate to the Democratic National Convention. He thinks it's unlikely that will happen.
Governor Pritzker would be an excellent choice to the ticket, but then again, Illinois is probably not going to vote for Trump in the first place.
Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton and the Democratic Party of Illinois quickly followed Pritzker's lead. State Party Chair Lisa Hernandez says Harris is the Democrats' best chance to defeat former President Donald Trump. Congressman Eric Sorensen, a vulnerable freshman Democrat who called on Biden to step aside in the wake of the president's widely panned June debate performance, also waited until Monday morning to endorse Harris. Sorensen represents a wide swath of central and northwestern Illinois, including Peoria. Peoria County Democratic Party Chairman Rick Fox says Biden's decision to step aside gives the party a chance to mend divisions and coalesce around a candidate.
I'm glad that this puts to rest a lot of uncertainty within the party and allows us us to start moving forward to really making the steps to get Democrats united.
The division also played out in Peoria. Fox previously told WCBU the local party wasn't taking a stance on the presidential nominee because members were split on the Biden question. But he says Peoria County Democrats' ground game is already getting a needed jolt of energy following Sunday's announcement.
There's a lot of volunteer interest and people willing to help us. So it's seems to have got a little bit of push of people to engage. So that's encouraging, and I think we're going to continue moving in that direction.
State Senator Dave Kaler agrees.
It just is a shot in the arm. And everybody loved Joe Biden, and really respect him for his job and what he will continue in his presidency to the end of his term. But it was not electrifying the campaign.
Democratic State Representative Sharon Chung represents most of East Peoria and Bartonville. She says it's telling that so many Democratic leaders across the state have gotten behind Harris.
I'm really, really excited to put all my efforts into supporting Vice President Harris, into being our nominee and hopefully our next president.
Chung says she does not want to see chaos at the Democratic National Convention next month if multiple candidates seek the nomination. State Senator Dave Kaler says he doesn't anticipate any serious challengers to crop up at next month's convention. He's backing Harris and says she boasts a, quote, stellar public service record.
She has been there at the table with all the discussions on foreign policy. She is ready to take over and hit the ground running. I think that she really is going to add a real spark to this campaign.
U.S. Senators Tammy Duckworth and Dick Durbin are also backing Harris. Duckworth says Democrats need to be, quote, fully united against Donald Trump. Rick Fox of the Peoria County Democrats is on board with that sentiment.
Since President Biden has made the decision that he feels that someone else should take the helm, that that's what we're all going to respect that and work towards electing a Democrat as president.
The Democratic National Convention is set for August 19th through the 22nd in Chicago. Colin Shope and Charlie Schlenker contributed to this report. For WCBU's On Deck, I'm Joe Deacon.
Now, before we let you go, tonight is a regular meeting of the Peoria City Council. Those meetings are in council chambers on Fulton Street. WCBU also carries the meeting in full on 89.9 FM and WCBU.org. And that's all for today. You can subscribe to WCBU's On Deck podcast on the NPR app, Apple, or Spotify.